What's up everybody, it's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing more of the Banished seasonal events, which is an alternate game mode in which after both players have selected their starting hands, their entire decks will get banished. That means whatever cards you have in that hand, they better be good, because that's all you're getting. That being said, our graveyard does not get banished, so that's what we're going to focus on with today's deck. Let's go give it a look. So for today's deck, we'll be playing a Skellige Rage of the Sea deck that focuses on dealing damage with weather effects and getting boosted in the process. We also have the ability to play several cards from our graveyard back onto the board, because although the Banished event banishes our deck, it does not banish our graveyard, giving us a unique way to play the cards we want to play. So of course we'll be able to cause weather effects and deal damage with our leader ability, along with Melusine, who will also increase her base power over time, making her potentially a good target to bring back from our graveyard as a form of carryover. Then we can also cause rain with the Melusine Cultist, as well as Fulmar, who can also transform that rain into storm, which deals more damage. And then Fucusya will bring a card back from our graveyard and apply rain if the card we bring back costs less than 10 provisions. And the ideal card to bring back, at least from somebody, will be Rioghan the Undying, because when we do this, we will trigger all the remaining turns of Rain and or Storm on the opponent's side of the board, giving us tons of damage all at once. And that damage will buff Dagur Two Blades, and also power up our Messengers of the Sea. Then another combo that we have is the Havfrue Singer spawning in Deafening Sirens. This will happen whenever we heal one of our units, and we have several cards that can deal damage to either themselves or other allied units, and we have several other cards that can heal the cards that are damaged. For example, the Drummond Berserker will damage itself by 1 every turn, and the Svalblod Cultist will both damage one of our units and heal one of our units, depending on where we play her. So for example, if we play her next to one of those Drummond Berserkers, then we can heal that Berserker every turn, so that means the Berserker will continue to deal 1 damage every turn, because it will never take enough damage to transform, and if the Havfrue Singer is on the board, then we will also spawn in those 2 power tokens every turn, for a total of 3 points per turn, even after we pass. Then we also have the Vildkaarl that will transform into the more powerful champion as Svalblod once Vildkaarl gets damage down to a 2. So that means we'll either put this next to Melusine, or we'll put it next to the Svalblod Cultist. Then we also have the Heymaey Flaminica that will heal all units in the same row at the end of our turn, giving us another way to proc the Havfrue Singer. And even the Craite Greatsword that will get healed whenever we deal damage is another way to proc the Havfrue Singer. So those are all the big combos in the deck, but now I'll flip through just to show you what else we have. And Dudu can, of course, transform into whatever our opponent's best unit is. And Herkja gives us another source of damage. Skjall is just a point slam. Freya's Blessing is another way to play cards from our graveyard. And the Craite Warcrier, assuming we have damaged units on the opposing side, will get boosted every turn, even after we pass. So there's a look at the deck, and like I said, it has a couple of key combos here, one being with all the weather effects and damage that comes with them, and the other being from spawning in tokens whenever we heal our units. And if you had a long round 1 or round 2, and Melusine was able to stay on the board and get her base power increased, then bringing her back in round 3 with that increased base power may be enough for her to single-handedly carry you in round 3. I'm curious to see how this stacks up against some of the biggest decks in this event, so let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here, and they'll go first. Alright, so we have Sigrdrifa's Rite, and we have Fucusya, so we have ways to get Rioghan out from our graveyard. We also have Freya's Blessing, so we can get one of our bronze units out of our graveyard as well. We have Svalblod Cultist to set up Vildkaarl, but I don't think we want the Craite Warcrier. Okay, Melusine, that's fantastic. So let's go with this. Okay, they'll start with Craite Greatsword, and that's gonna, well, weaken our Craite Greatsword to the point where it's gonna destroy itself on deploy. But let's start with this Svalblod Cultist. And they will lock it. Okay, using their stratagem. We'll go with... Oh, hold on a second. A Sneks? Do we have enough damage to get rid of it? It would be difficult, but it may be possible. So let's go with Melusine here. Alright, now they're going to go Brothans. And the only thing they can make with that would be another Svalblod Cultist, which I'm not really sure that they want. Especially because they put it in the wrong place, now it's going to damage Brothans every turn. So now let's go with the Drummond Berserker. And we'll use Melusine here. On their melee row, we're going to see if we can get enough rain here that if we were to get Rioghan out from our graveyard, we could actually destroy this Viper. Otherwise, this is the perfect counter for our deck. But they'll keep on playing, which is good, because we're going to need to play a lot of cards here. We're going with Artorias Vigo and getting some more Assimilate. Okay, so let's do more Melusine damage here and get the Vildkaarl out. And that may end up getting locked with their leader ability. We'll go Dudu. Looks like they're transforming into Melusine. So now let's go Messenger of the Sea. And we are going to want to use Melusine again. And they're playing, which helps us. Alright, they're going to lock Messenger of the Sea. But they do not lock the Vildkaarl. That means it will transform at the end of our turn. So now what we do is if we go Rage of the Sea here and combine that with Fucusya to get out Rioghan, and that is sufficient to get rid of their Snek. If we can hold back on Melusine now. We'll get the Champion as Fallblood, but most importantly, it means that Snek will not be in our graveyard, so we'll not be able to banish Melusine. And maybe they didn't see that coming, because it looks like they may have rage quit. Yeah, they bail here, because they know they just got thoroughly outplayed. Alright, so going up against Northern Realms here, and they'll go first. And we have a ton of healing to set up the Havfrue Singer, and we can use that healing to set up the Drummond Berserker. Let's get rid of the Warcrier, and the Greatsword is another target for our healing. Then we already have a lot of ways to revive, so let's get rid of Freya's Blessing. They'll start with Immortal Cavalry, and that immediately makes me suspicious. I think we have to assume that this is a Roegner deck. That means they'd finish with a card that gets boosted by 3 for every shield on the board when they play it. That would mean even if the shields prevent us from dealing damage, it is still worth getting rid of them. So let's start with the Berserker. And yes, they continue to play more shielded units here, though in this case they'll get boosted if we remove that shield from Immortals. And of course that damage from the Berserker is random, so we can't control which unit it hits, but I think we still keep it going here by playing the Heymaey Flaminica, and we just accept that there's a chance that it'll hit Immortals. Kinda like that. Alright, they have a 9-point lead, so they'll pass. And the only way we can pass them in one turn without using all of our leader ability charges or Fucusya would be if we play Skjall. Even then, it's only good enough if the random damage from the Berserker does not hit Immortals. And okay, this time it doesn't. Nor does it that time, so we're good. Okay, but we did play one more card than our opponent, so let's dry pass here. Ooh, and they'll play Vandegrift, so they have Resilience. The perfect card for that situation. So that means they'll win round 2 with carryover and with an extra shield. Okay, so they'll go with Temerian Drummer to give themselves some boosts. And they'll even use a shield wall charge on it. And though we haven't seen them yet, as we were saying in round 1, I think we still have to assume that they have Roegner. And that means these shields, they've got to go. So let's actually use Fucusya here. Because if we use her to bring back the Berserker, he only costs 5 provisions, which means we get 5 turns worth of rain. And of course the Berserker also deals damage. And then they play, oh, Lacerate. Now that really hurts. Because that converts the Berserker into that Bear Abomination. And if they hadn't done that, we could have healed the Berserker every turn to keep it alive and keep it damaging by 1 every turn, helping to remove shields, and have it proc the Havfrue Singer every turn as well. But now, that's not possible. In that case, let's go with the Messenger of the Sea to maximize the boost from the rain. Alright, now they play Lady of the Lake, so that removes any doubt. They are absolutely playing Roegner. So now let's go with the Havfrue Singer to start printing out those 2-point sirens. Okay, then they'll go with Rite combo character number 1. Now, did they really put both of them in their deck and risk not having both of them in their hand? Either way, let's go with the Greatsword here so that we have another unit that can get healed. And if they're sneaky, they could even play Roegner on their next turn. So let's use our leader ability to get rid of the shields in their range row. Okay, and it's a minor miracle, but they do have Rite. So Desert Treasure gives them Regis Bloodlust, which they should use on our Havfrue Singer. Ooh, but they get distracted by Fucusya. I know she costs more provisions, but she's already done her thing, whereas the Havfrue Singer is still going. Then let's play this Svalblod Cultist so that it damages that Greatsword. That way it will stay damaged, and that way it can continue to heal itself every turn, rather than just maxing out at 10 power. That way the Havfrue Singer will keep going. Then it's Primordial Dow, a point slam unit that also has a shield. So now we go Fulmar, because we'll need a turn before we can use his order ability. And Weather in the melee row means more damage, but Weather in the range row means getting rid of more shields. I think melee row is still better, though. Okay, and there's Roegner, as we predicted. But with just one shield means he's only a 7-point play. And obviously, we've already won here, but I just want to show you guys the combo we were going to pull off on our last turn. So you maximize the rain, then you convert that rain into storm, then use Sigrdrifa's Rite to summon Rioghan. Then he triggers all the damage from that storm, and that means even if they had a big Roegner, we still would have taken the win. Alright, so going up against Scoia'tael here, and we'll go first. Okay, so we have both Fucusya and Sigrdrifa's Rite, so we can get 2 cards back from our graveyard. We have the Svalblod Cultist combined with the Drummond Berserker, so we can heal this to keep it going. We'd love to combine that with the Havfrue Singer. Let's get rid of the Craite Warcrier. And another Messenger of the Sea works well for rain, but we actually don't have a lot of it here. So I think we get rid of this. And get another Greatsword? Nah, let's try... Okay, Fulmar. Now we have a much more well-rounded hand, so that's great. So let's start with the Svalblod Cultist. They'll go with Xavier. Okay, that would normally be a problem. And in fact, it is. Because they just banished Rioghan. And if more cards go into our graveyard, then they can banish those too. And since we're looking to bring 2 cards back from our graveyard, that's a problem. So let's keep this round short in that case. Let's go with the Drummond Berserker here. And now the Svalblod Cultist will heal this to keep it going. And let's use our tactic on the Svalblod Cultist. And that is ideally the last card we play in this round. Alright, they'll go with the Dwarven Agitator. That'll give them some hand boosting, but it does not help them very much in the short term. So I think we pass here, take a little bit of chance, and hope that they cannot catch us here in one turn. But they use their leader ability, and that will definitely help set them up to take the lead here. So they need 7 points, or to use more leader ability charges. And they have 7 points unless they have non-dwarves in their hands. No, it is exactly 7 points. So it's just enough for them to take the round 1 win. Okay, so they played one more card than us in round 1, and perhaps for that reason, they dry pass here. We actually don't have a great card to throw away here, but remember we can bring something back with both Sigrdrifa's Rite and with Fucusya. So with that in mind, I think maybe we play the Greatsword here. Because if we summon that in round 3 from our graveyard, then it won't use its deploy ability, so it'll be 10 power rather than 4. So that means we'll take the round 2 win. Okay, and I think we start with Herkja for some damage. They'll go with the Mahakam Defender, and we know they have 100% Dwarves. They will move Herkja out of the melee row, which looks bad, but it's not nearly as bad as it seems. We can't use her order ability anymore, but she will still deal 1 damage per turn. So now let's get out the Messenger of the Sea in anticipation of future rain. Alright, they'll go with Alsor's Thunder to get rid of Herkja altogether. And that is perhaps an indication that they may have additional damage in their hand, so we want to be careful with Skjall. And although I was tempted to summon the Greatsword, I think we actually summon Herkja instead. So we can bring her back into the melee row. She'll deal damage again, and we can use her order ability, and they no longer have any leader ability charges left, so they can't move her unless they have other cards to do that. Okay, they have Xavier. So if they get more dwarves down there, which we know they will, he'll get armor, and then he'll start getting boosted. So let's make sure we pile on the damage. And remember, they got rid of Rioghan, so that means we no longer have a way of instantly triggering all of our weather effects at the end of the round. So we need to be a little more proactive with that. Let's use some leader ability charges here, perhaps all of them. And then, let's play Fulmar. Alright, they'll go with the Dwarf Berserker. That will give them some damage. And they are going in a different row. We do see that Xavier now has armor after they played another dwarf, but he's going to get damaged by this rain. We do want to be mindful of what we want to transform into with Dudu. Haven't really seen any great options yet. I mean, we're not going to be able to achieve the same dwarf synergies that they have. So ideally, we just take something that has a decent amount of base power. The Dwarf Berserker does have damage, so it's actually not a terrible idea. But I think now we actually go Fucusya. And let's bring back the Greatsword. And then we'll convert. Alright, they have another Dwarf Berserker. But I don't think they're going to outdamage us. Alright, and I think we do need to play Dudu here. So let's go with the Dwarf Berserker. It's not amazing. We won't have enough time to do all of the damage from him, but it's something. Alright, now it's Munro. And last but certainly not least, we are saving Skjall, because we were a little bit concerned about them having too much damage for us to handle with him. So we'll play him here. And then we will want to use Herkja's ability, and I suppose we go melee row? Alright, so they have one card left. Can they get 30 plus points from it with tempering? Absolutely not. So that means we'll take the win. No Rioghan necessary. Alright, going up against Nilfgaard here. And we'll go first. Alright, and we have some key cards for a big rain combo, using Melusine, Fulmar, and then Fucusya to get Rioghan out from our graveyard. We also have the Havfrue Singer, which we can combine with the Craite Greatsword to spawn in a bunch of 2-power Deafening Sirens. Let's get rid of our Craite Warcrier. And if we could get rid of this and get another one of the Messengers of the Sea, that'd be fantastic. No, not this time, but we could replay the Messenger of the Sea. Maybe we get rid of the Melusine Cultist as well. Alright, so I think we start using the Svalblod Cultist here. They'll go with the Sheilard Fitzosserlin, and that is going to hit the Craite Greatsword, so it is now going to get destroyed when we play it, but we do have ways to play it back from our graveyard if needed. Mostly, we're looking to play Melusine here, and start to get her boosted up. Alright, then Nausicaa Sergeant is what they'll play next. It takes a long time to charge up, so that may mean they're looking to play a long round 1 here, and that is kind of what we're looking for. That way we can boost up Melusine, and in round 2 or round 3 we have the option of either going with Fucusya into Rioghan or Fucusya into Melusine. But now what we should do is let's use Melusine's ability, damage her. Now the Svalblod Cultist will heal her every turn, and we can do this, heal Melusine, and spawn in a Deafening Siren. Alright, they're going to get rid of Melusine using Vildkaarl, so that's not terribly surprising. They arguably should have done that right off the bat. So we got her up to a 9, which is not as high as we would have liked to have gotten her, which means we're probably going to use Fucusya into Rioghan in round 2 or round 3. But we still have some interesting plays here, so I think we keep on going. Let's go Drummond Berserker, and if we play him here, he will damage himself every turn, yes, but then he'll get healed by the Svalblod Cultist, and that healing will proc Havfrue Singer. Let's boost Havfrue Singer here. Because now, even if we pass, we'll be generating 3 points per turn. Alright, they're gonna go Red Haze. And get rid of, okay, the Cultist. That does make some sense. We no longer have our source of healing. Unless we want to keep on going here and use Freya's Blessing to get the Svalblod Cultist back. And you know what? That might actually be a decent option here. It does now mean that this Craite Greatsword is, truthfully, a dead card. Right, they're going to keep on playing, though. A little bit surprised. The fact that they are boosting this Havfrue Singer makes me think that perhaps they have a way of removing it. But I think we pass now, because as we were saying, we have a 3-point per turn engine that will keep on turning, even after we pass. We're going to go Artifact Impression. Okay, I see, but even that's not enough. And they're already a card down here. So that means they're going 2 cards down, but it is Shoop's day off. Presumably they're looking for the resilience, and they do get it. So that is just enough for them to win round 1 with some carryover, but they do go 2 cards down. So they'll dry pass here. And that poses a very interesting question as to how we put up at least 9 points as quickly as possible. The easy answer is to say Fucusya into Rioghan, and that is certainly enough, but that is our big combo we'd like to save to the very end. We don't really have the setup for Vildkaarl anymore, so if we do this, and then we go with both leader ability charges, that should be sufficient. So we still have our big combo, getting Rain and converting that Rain into Storm to boost up the Messenger of the Sea, and then use Fucusya to get Rioghan out from our graveyard. Craite Greatsword would work with that if he didn't get damaged to the point where he's now going to destroy himself when we play him. So I think we just throw him away here. They'll use their leader ability, of course, get Fulmar, and we will basically just dodge whatever row they use this on here. So that means no melee. Simple enough. Then they go Ardfiend Tortoise. Okay, I mean, that's a card we very much would like to damage, so that works well. So let's go Messenger of the Sea first. Right, they're going to do something. Messenger of the Sea, it's damage her. She's hanging on. Now let's use Fulmar. I think we want to go in this row here. That way we can get rid of the armor on the Ardfiend Tortoise and get boosted in the process. Alright, they are going to do just enough damage to get rid of that Messenger of the Sea, which is unfortunate, because we would have been able to survive that hit had we damaged their melee row instead and gotten 1 more boost, and technically we could have known that that was going to happen based on the deployability that Letho had. We knew their last card was going to be Serit, but we may still have enough firepower here. So let's convert. Then we play Fucusya here. And get Rioghan. And will it add up? Just barely. We will take the win. So there's a look at a Skellige deck for the new Banished seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.